Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Capt'S album collection, Hip Hop Edition. Tonight's album, Ultramagnetic MC's Critical Beatdown. Critical Beatdown is the debut studio album from the group Ultramagnetic MCs, released on October 4th, 1988 on Next Plateau Records. The production for the album was handled primarily by the group's rapper and producer Hes G, using a EMU SB1200 sampler as the main instrument for the album. Musical journalists have noted the album for its innovative production, funk-based samples, and ingenious lyrics. Although it charted modestly upon its release in '88, since then Critical Beatdown has been acclaimed by critics as classic album of hip-hop's golden age. The album spawned 6 singles over 3 years, with Ego Trippin' being their first single before actually creating an entire album in 1986. Traveling at the Speed of Thought, released in '87 along with Funky, and Watch Me Now, Hes Back in '88, followed up by Give the Drummer Some, released in early '89. Before becoming a hip-hop group, Ultramagnetic MC's members Cedric Hes G. Miller and Kool Keith Thornton, along with Maurice Smith, DJ Mo Love, and TR Love, Trevor Randolph, were all from the Bronx, New York, and part of the breakdance crew, the New York City Breakers. And this makes a lot of sense because their first single, or first song I ever heard from the group, or at least I thought I had ever heard from the group, and we'll put a pin in that. I'll return to explain that in the next segment. But Watch Me Now, the first release from the album and the first track on the album, uses the song It's Just Begun by the Jimmy Castor Bunch heavily. And that's a very, very popular song with breakdancers. Let's get into the first track off Critical Beatdown, Watch Me Now, by the Ultramagnetic MCs.
I'm better, but some don't believe me though. But I'm a pro in hot material on your Walkman. Box to any stereo, uno, dos, not cuatro. Spanish girls, they like to call me Pancho. On the mic, innovating this pattern. You fell off, your brain is on Saturn. Take steps and climb my ladder and climb, climb, climb. Pace the rhythm and clock the time that I leave. Come back on beat, different. Telling and selling, like a skyjet plane propelling, but dwelling deep in your skull. My rhyme shines and yours are dull like dirt. It hurt to be whacker, but instead I grab a big stacker. Whack MCs, lay them down like tile. Scrapping garbage, germs I pile to keep clean. I'm in a movie scene. Ears turn and needles lean to cut scratches in a part that matches. I'm leaving eyes and brains with patches stuck. So push my luck. For any roach or MC duck, just watch me. Watch me now. Suckers. Yo, why everybody gotta watch you now?
I'm living large. My record's on the radio. Every day you hear me on your stereo, rapping hard with lots of volume. You hear static? Well, use your fine-tuned knob to tune me in better. Cause I'm a G and I would never let her whack MCG off with style. Touch my mic, rip and smile like a duck. You know you all soft punk. Live in pink, your material sucks. Louder and worse than you can imagine. You best run, cause I'ma put a badge in your brain, so you can see the real time. Grab a pen and write down my rhyme, and learn it and learn it and learn it until it sinks inside your skull and you're no longer pink but red. Cause now you are a biter. Learning from me, so I guess that is alright. Except if you try to be the original rhyme imperial, the exceptional G. Sometimes I rhyme offbeat, awkward, but different with the rhythm. Back and forth 1, 2, and then I give them a chance to see the world's greatest MC. Just watch me. Word up, you gotta watch me now. More love, release the glue.
I'm continuing back and forth. Your brain spins facing north and south and west, not east at an angle. But mine's dango, where's your cane angle. It seems weird, your head is triangle. Like a mango, something I snack on. A soft duck, something I smack on. Every day when I come outside, you step back, stay inside your house. While you look out your window, your girl screams, where Cool Keith go? Walking, while punks keep talking, annoying me, MC's hawking. On the stage, anytime, I'm cold chilling or wearing a rhyme to keep warm, with the beat that's playing. You hear me now, you know what I'm saying? To you and you, your whole organization and crew, just watch as I enter your mind. Decorate and paint my sign, I'm hazardous, so scatter this around. I'm cool, keep knocking MCs down, just watch me and him.
Rhythm with madness, I had to have this chance to rock again so you can hear this over and over and over until I'm finished. Hey, but I'm not, so here's a rhythm. A rap beat, step beat, keep feet happy as we gradually, slowly will teach all how to rap. I will attract all the deaf girls, smack the other ones back and sit. As I chill, I'm drinking Moet, expensive champagne, cause said G is a poet. Rapping and teaching, reaching levels higher. Don't wanna be king, so don't call me sire, but instead a scientist with a breakthrough. My rap is funky, it can't relate to you, him, her, your little brother, his older sister, your baby's mother, cousins, aunt, your whole family. In other words, said G, I'm amply the best producer at making rap music. I know how to use it, so just watch me. Yo, this is TR Love, telling y'all to watch us. Terms.
That was Watch Me Now by the Ultramagnetic MCs, the first track and first single off of Critical Beatdown, sampling heavy the Jimmy Castor Bunch in their song It's Just Begun, a very popular song with breakers back in the 80s and throughout the 90s. The Ultramagnetic MCs had started out themselves as a breakdancing crew, the New York City Breakers and People's Choice Crews. They recorded a demo called Space Groove in 84 and followed that up with another single in 85 called To Give Your Love, but they were both kind of horseshit. Somehow, one of their tracks became popular at block parties and earned the group notice in the underground music scene, which eventually led to the group signing with a more dance-orientated record label, Next Plateau Records. The only other group that I could think of that people would know from Next Plateau Records at the time was Salt and Pepper. Yeah, that is a hip-hop group, and a good one, but also a dance-orientated group. Ultramagnetic MCs would turn out to be much more of a hardcore rap, b-boy hip-hop type thing than dance-orientated music. Although you could dance to Ultramagnetic singles, that's for sure. My initial experience with the song Watch Me Now was hearing it on a mixtape of the Marley Marl In Control Rap Attack show from New York. A friend of mine on the bus, I used to ride with on the bus to junior high, would have these tapes that his sister would send him from New York because that's where he was originally from. And I just bugged out. I couldn't believe he actually had Marley Marl In Control or Marley Marl Rap Attack WBLS tapes, mixes, not the store-bought kind that had like, some dumb cartoon crew songs on it or some shit, and maybe a couple Run DMC or Eric B. and Rakim tracks on it. This is the real show, the actual show from the radio that you could hear all kinds of different stuff. And so on that tape, I heard for the first time De La Soul, Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd, Heavy D, and Ultramagnetic MCs. Ultimately, I heard Watch Me Now. But what I didn't know was that I actually owned an Ultramagnetic MC song on one of my various artists' Rap Attack tapes or, various rap collection mixtapes that I could buy from the store that had limited, varieties of groups on it. But Hes Back, our next song that we're going to take a look at, was actually on one of those various artist tapes, and I just didn't put two and two together for a while that it was the same group, thinking that I was hearing a brand new group because I was so blown away by Kool Keith's rhyme style and the things he was saying that I just didn't realize it was the same group that did this track I had heard probably about 6 months before when I bought a various artist cassette that had Ease Back on it, which is kind of a, in my opinion, like a goofier song than Watch Me Now. Watch Me Now seems to be a little bit more of a serious, braggadocious, coming right at you, kickoff, lead-off track. And Ease Back is just kind of more of a attitude type thing that I didn't really, I guess, notice as much as Watch Me Now. But it is a equally notable track. And here it is, Ease Back by the Ultramagnetic MCs off Critical Beatdown.
30 seconds to respond. 30 seconds to respond with our anti-ballistic missile.
Say what? Yeah! Now ease back.
To the rear,
You hear eardrums drown.
the bass pound.
Real stupid.
We didn't loot this,
No, did we scoop it?
instead we rock this.
Why ducks jock this?
Fighting and writing and fighting for this.
Beats and wax.
Rounds and facts,
Biting axe. How we did it?
for this one, that one, biters around.
Check out the sounds in town. To the rhythm that we give them. In fact, you whack.
Ultramagnetic.
Skills. Course your records, no frills. Here's your bill. Now ease back. Ease back. Ease back.
I'm back, back to smack attack those who whack, who lack my experience. On the microphone, holding my own ground, dominating forces, changing sources, punks take losses. Enough courses, me on the mic, feeding a word, smart like a nerd. Haven't you heard this? Change of rhyme, continuing, delaying the time for my incredible, highly elevated, smooth in the mind, more sophisticated, motivated, as I related, verbal. This in the mouse is smacking any gerbil. I bought a Saab in 1990 turbo, shining, fog lights in the front. I'm by myself, no seats for a stunt, cause I want it like that, I got it like that, I have it like that, I need it like that, it's better like that, I made it like that, I bought it like that, I'm living like that. For you whack MCs who go on the mic and blow on the mic and perpetrate frauds and making mistakes like an amateur, but I'm a 20-year veteran and better than, including the rest of them. I chew 'em more and spit out the best of them. One by one, I'm teaching my son to ease back.
Ease back. What's up? It's me again. I'm Set G with the funky blend of beats and rhymes on time with my DJ. He's not weak with anything he plays rockin'. Slicing records treacherous like a professor. He has perfected this simple potion through devotion with his blends, his motions. It's fastly approaching, coasting, reaching higher levels. So when you see him, you best say hello. I'ma take out a knife, pen and paper and write a rhyme so dope you can't think, can't cope. Ducks, who are you really kidding? You say you're dope? Well, you're admitting that you can't compete because your rhymes are weak, full of more nonsense, past tense, incomplete. Weep and learn a new rap style from Sir G, the wizard of know-how and innovation, elevation, psyching the nation. When I ease back, ease back. Word up, it's time to ease back. You know what I'm saying?
Word up, ain't that something? I'm the best MC in the whole wide world.
Word up, yo, I know what you're saying, man. Yo, Paul C, turn the bass down, man. It's damaging my ear canal. Snap, better yes, man. Leave it how it is. Yo, TR, grab the 9, we out of here. Ease back.
That's Ease Back from the Ultramagnetic MCs, the second track off their album Critical Beatdown. Upon listening to that with you just now, I realized why I wrote them off when I first heard that track on one of my various rap cassette tapes, and didn't realize that it was the same group that maybe a few months later I heard on the Marley Marl mixtape, Watch Me Now, was because it had that Public Enemy sample in the back, which I thought was sort of a cop-out. There really wasn't too much to the production of that Ease Back track, and I was really into production at the time, not really paying too much attention to lyrics. So just as a side note, I think that's why I heard Ease Back first, technically. It was the first Ultramagnetic song I ever heard, but it didn't blow me away like Watch Me Now did. After Watch Me Now, I had to hear everything I could from Ultramagnetic MCs. Now, keeping in the order of the tracks on the album, the third track is the song that pretty much broke through for the group. The group made its stylistic breakthrough with their subsequent 1986 single Ego Trippin'. The song's dense, minimalist production featured synthesizer riffs and a drum sample from Melvin Bliss's synthetic Substitution. The erratic lyricism by Said G and Kool Keith, the group's 1987 single Funky, showcased more of Said G's expanding on his own production style, incorporating a piano sample from Joe Cocker's Woman to Woman. Before the release of Critical Beatdown, he contributed to the production on albums such as Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim and Criminal Minded by Boogie Down Productions, which was the album that we looked at last time we got together for the Captain's album collection. And I did mention that Said G had had some problems getting recognition for producing tracks on that album. There seems to be a problem with Said G showing people how to use the equipment and hooking up some beats for them, in the case of Eric B. For Paid in Full and Scott LaRock for Criminal Minded, and then not getting the credit that he deserves for producing the tracks or helping them produce the tracks down the line. Even on this album, Critical Beatdown, his own group and his own album, the album is miscredited as being completely produced by Paul C. sometimes, just because Paul C., a famous young white producer who produced a lot of great hip-hop tracks back in 86, 87, and 88, died in 89 and is sort of infamous because he died young and was such a fantastic producer that taught the large professor how to use the equipment famously and all that stuff. But because of that, it sort of overshadowed the fact that Said G produced most of the album. Only 2 tracks are produced by Paul C. on Critical Beatdown. So even on his own record, he has a hard time getting recognition for what he has done. And I just think that needs to be noted. So the next song we're going to go into is Ego Trippin', and it's probably the most recognizable tune by Ultramagnetic MCs to most people, because it's got the infamous breakbeat, as I discussed, and then the sort of stream of consciousness, braggadocious, egocentric rapping that they do. It really stands out because nobody was rhyming like that at the time. The dynamic, choppy sound featured on Ego Trippin' and the entire Critical Beatdown album was produced primarily by Said G, who used the EMU-SP 1200 sampler. The album's production notably inspired hip-hop production teams The Bomb Squad. They have cited many times that the album was a major influence on their production for Public Enemy's 1988 album It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, one of my favorite albums of all time. So here it is, probably one of their most recognizable and popular songs. It's Ego Trippin' off Critical Beatdown by the Ultramagnetic MCs.
Party people's in the place to be. Just for you, it's the Ultramagnetic MCs.
Say what? Here, what the hell with childish rhyme?
Cause the jam is just moving
The crowd is steady moving
to a supersonic pace
with high to stupid bass
with some pep.
in the step.
Cause
The beat is so funky, the pace is well kept. Come on.
Cool Keith.
They use simple back and forth, the same old rhythm that a baby can pick up and join right with them, but the rhymes are pathetic. They think they cope aesthetic, using nursery terms, at least not poetic on an educated base. Intelligent, wise, as the record just turned, you learn, plus burn by the flame of the lyrics, which cooks the human brain, providing overheating knowledge by means causing pain, making migraine headaches yourself start to melt while the techniques spin. The wax is on the belt, motivating clockwise. The more you realize, more love's moving steady by most. We're ever ready, like a battery charged and work the alkaline. Yes, the mystery to solve. So seeking to find these words I've given, extreme and out driven with a Datsun, a Maxim of the glide. Yes, the wizard Kool Keith, and I'm sporting my rhyme, cause we're
Ultra. MC's Ultra. MC Ultra. MC's.
Said G.
Using frequencies and data, I am approximate, leaving revolutions, turning emerging chemistry with deep precise implications achieved. Adversity, explorating, demonstrating, ruling, dominating, igniting, causing friction with new
and make the penicillin I was shooting sort out and stomp every pest. OP rampaging paramedic. Quotient is my title to inform of the world of such a holocaust which serve as a purpose. Preparing first aid with medical utensils. The wizard said G is advanced with elevation. Astonishing with rhythm cause we're MC's Ultra. MC's Ultra. MC's Ultra.
Slight positive beams of the average formulation applied mechanically, maintainable displayed, expressed by alternating microwave frequencies, directly inorganic, operating logically. New development, separate, accumulating, ambiguous thoughts, admitting parts, specify particular words, volunteer, agitating, ears of parasites, respond, duplicating, attempting lyricists, recognize competition in ultimate reality. The general speaker, corporal cool key, leaving specimens frozen near 0 degrees by controlling every germ. A spray disinfected with tranquilized brains and stunned competitors, cause we're Ultra. MC Ultra. MC Ultra. MC.
Rapper basic style of writing they have no elevation that an audience respects and gives them innovation, yet they think they're so indebted. Using lousy edits, biting companies beat to cheat and get the credit on a scandal type case. Embezzlement wise, now as my lyrics tell the truth, the soup plus juicing by the force of my rhythm which frees the average mind, allowing frost, biting rhythm which can't be redefined. Gamma ray, planet wise, the more you will despise. Said G, I'm always ready, at least I'm not confetti like a missile. I'm precise to Z, real in on others being lost at 12 degrees. You can't so out the others. This rhyme I'm reciting, the words are so exciting with the DJ on the table. More love is always flying with a scratch and the cut. Then you get up, proceed to move your butt crossways. MC's Ultra. MC's Ultra. MC's Ultra. MC's.
keyboard is Money Mike.
Getting busy in the place.
Erotic G's in the place.
T.R. Love.
14 Mission Posse.
Two loves in the house.
To a man, a Trent Love.
Jerry D's in the place.
South Bronx. To the girl Chris.
Well,
To the girl Christine. Brother Kevy Kev.
please.
Denise. Hello.
That was Ego Trippin' from the Ultramagnetic MCs off their album Critical Beatdown, and incidentally, that particular version of Ego Trippin' is off a 2004 re-release of the album that has 2 extra verses on it and is a little longer than the original 12-inch version. And that's what you just heard. The album Critical Beatdown on a whole is extremely influential, and I can see how the record influenced countless groups, and said G's history of getting under-recognized, I guess would be a good term, for his contributions as a producer, and his techniques specifically is rather troubling, and I'm hoping that that can be a major point that someone listening to this can come away from this with, and that is said G is responsible for a lot more production in classic golden era hip hop than we realize. And you know, his method of chopping up samples rather than simply looping them like most of his contemporary producers did essentially changed the way a producer approached producing a hip hop beat. I wouldn't be surprised if Premier and Pete Rock were heavily influenced by said G, and whether or not they knew that they were, or they thought they were being influenced by Paul C. or the Large Professor or whatever. I think that finally, hopefully, credit will go where credit is due, and that is that Said G is an incredible producer. Other notable tracks on the album that we won't be able to get to in this episode, but that you should check out are Mo Love's theme, Cool Keith's House and Things. Feelin' It is a great, strong track along with Funky. Funky was a single. Ain't It Good to You, Break North, the title track, Critical Beatdown, Said G, Delta Force One, and When I Burn, all great tracks off the album. And Cool Keith's rhyme style was incredibly influential and innovative too. I mean, he was the first MC to have such an incredibly abstract flow and have it be so out there and in left field, but also extremely relevant and understandable as far as being able to follow him. The last two tracks that I want to play off the album for you are singles. Most of the tracks that I did play in this show and usually do on these album collection spotlights are singles. And that's not always by design. It usually just ends up that the most important or notable songs on the albums are the singles. And the last two we're going to play here for you are Give the Drummer Some, which was produced by Paul C., and Traveling at the Speed of Thought, which is a very bizarre attempt at a single or a song or whatever. And then a quick little thing that I'm going to tag onto the end called 1 Minute Less, which apparently is just they had a minute left on the album to fill, and so there's a little rhyme on there from Said G and a funky beat or whatever. But on a whole, I think this album is extremely important, and like a lot of albums or groups that were established before 1987, I sort of came to Ultramagnetic MCs a little backwards, because my first experience, again, was just hearing those songs on mixtapes. But my first purchase of an Ultramagnetic MC album was about 1.5 to 2 years later, when they came out with Funk Your Head Up, which is one of my favorite records of all time. Not taking away the importance of Critical Beatdown, but I did get that kind of retroactively and bought that album after I was influenced by Ultramagnetic MC's Funk Your Head Up, and kind of went backwards to do a little bit of homework like that. But that's the way I got into a lot of groups, because I was up in Alaska and I was kind of coming to it late. I think that Ultramagnetic MC's first album, Critical Beatdown, is probably one of the most essential hip-hop albums there is, and that everybody who's interested in hearing golden era hip-hop and why it sounds the way it does should go out and pick it up and check it out. So, our last few tracks here, Give the Drummer Some, Traveling at the Speed of Thought, and 1 Minute Less. And that's going to do it for the Capt'S album collection, Hip-Hop Edition, Ultramagnetic MC's Critical Beatdown. Quick program note, stay tuned to Freezknotable Pop Culture TV and check out some things later on today, like the Wu Chronicles Chapter 2, the Wu-Tang Clan's Spotlight Show, which is fantastic. And today will be the last night that it's on Sunday nights. It will move to Wednesday nights, so there'll be a new episode on Wednesday. And then this show, Capt'S album collection, Hip-Hop Edition, Metal Edition, Classic Rock, Hard Rock Edition, Pop Edition, whatever it may be, this show will move to Sunday nights. So this will be on Sunday nights. The Wu Chronicles will be on Wednesday nights. The Pit still on Thursday nights, and then all the other madness all over the place. So stick around and check it out. Also, don't forget to check out a special edition, a blown-up edition of this show, as we do a special retrospective and heavy spotlight on De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising, called 3.5 Feet High and Rising. And the first act of that, it's going to be done in 3 segments, 3 acts, as we're calling it. And the first one will be up on my birthday, which is December 21st, and that's Monday night. So stick around for all that good stuff. Here are the last few tracks I'm going to play for you off Ultramagnetic MC's Critical Beatdown.
Two, 1, 2, Ultramagnetic's in full effect. We talking about giving the drummer some. You know what, yo, Cool Keith, tell him what's on your mind.
I'm ready, and now it's my turn to build, uplift, get swift, then drift off, and do my own thing. Switch up, change my pitch up, smack my bitch up like a pimp. For any rapper who attempt to wear troops and step on my path, I Unwilling as an A1 general, rhyme enforcer, 235 on a rhyme test. What other group of vests and line? I put them all behind. Play MC Ultra as a warning sign of my skill and what my mind deserves. I smell a grape in the duck preserves. And who deserves the right to be king to scream and shout whack poetry? What are you bugging? Germs that wanna lure me, quit it before I heat your ear off. Let your burn deduct another year off rapping. For a face I'm slapping. Give me applause when hands start clapping. Now give the drummer some.
Give the drummer some. Give the drummer some. Give the drummer some. Give the drummer some of this fucking soul we got.
Well, said, the rhyming force delta. When I enter, you best take shelter. Cause I'm dope, and yes I will melt her. Anyone who tried to even felt the emotion, a thought that they can hang with me. I cut you up because you are my enemy. On my stage, interfering with my radius. So step back, cause I'ma start to spray with this can of ray spray. If you're a germ, filthy like AIDS, I'll clean you up with heat, vapors, scrubbing and scrubbing. Like a mistake on paper, I'm rubbing, erasing you out like some ink. Cause you're dirty, your rhymes stink like garbage. Have to put you in a hefty, or instead, should I just let the weak MCs accumulate like dust? Take out my duster, shine them up, then teach them respect. Hook 'em up, just like a tape that can mono a stereo. Cause I'm a real pro, with a cameo, and not an afro. This beat is funky, I'm letting it go. You know why? They get the drummer some.
Give the drummer some.
Some rappers are rating us, some are hating us, some are talking, some debating us critically. But physically my mind is self-taught like a rap pro. Designed this matter to burn MCs and toys with flame. 500 degrees of rhymes that heat and cook and sizzle. Your brain is on the grill at nighttime. And what about the daytime? I hear the whack ones, they get a lot of playtime. Saying they're whack and wasting my airtime. You're number 2 and next to my spare time. Another rhyme has to be controlling. And for your brain that must have been stolen. Tooken, yes, taken away. I'm on the court and I'm fading away with a jumper. I shoot a rhyme in your face. Add the points while I ride the bass. Incredible, come in 3 dimensions. Parallel with the funky extensions. I'm cool, keep running rap conventions on time. Now give the drummer some.
Give the drummer some. Give the drummer some. Give the drummer some. Give the drummer some of this fucking soul we got here.
As I take your mind off and on to a new track. The Tame Ducks, how to act. Respect me when I whoop your brain, skip your brain, and dip your brain in a lotion while I deck your skull. I'm like a bird when I'm pecking your skull. To it hurt and swell, puff, bleed, blood patches down, covering knots for eye jamming. I'm taking your brain from the back. I'ma pull out your ears cause I'm sick. Traveling hard, ill, off. Another lunatic, smacking germs, eating bugs, biting mouse. Roaches wander while I'm traveling on to Bellevue cause I'm sick. Traveling hard at the speed of thought.
Well, I'm back to seek and freak a new remix with the sounds I like and I can't miss rocking the beats and chords on time with the way I say and I freak rhymes rough and hardcore. I want an encore. I'm said G, I'm in an uproar, taking brain snatching, giving X-rays, reading cells, or should I say, hey, it's nothing. I'm simply rushing into your skull and merely crushing cells, leaving you blind. The more you look, the more you will find me traveling at the speed of thought. That's too quick, right? much rhythm and pace. To set my tone, follow the bass quickly. Of the rappers are annihilated, designated, eradicated, suffocated. Like a cake that sets the bake, I'll take, mold and shape, scrape. Like a butcher, I'm carving, your brain starving. I'm steady starring, up at the garden. The crowd is charging, and I'm dodging. I'm living large and better than ever, and clever to battle me never. Whether or not to rock a lot, a rhyme to twist, to shift, the pitch, to switch, to gift, the gab, to drop a dab of rhythm. Give 'em a certified rhyme that I use, confuse, clock the time to a point, a metaphysical radius. I'm said G, and all I have to say is this. Yo, I'm out of here. Y'all like to say what's up to my man CJ down at 6 Corners. Red Alert, the Violence, the Jungle Brothers, the whole family, Africa Bambaataa. My man Andy down at D&D. Yo, I'm out of here.